So that hopefully that made sense. But just sort of think about like what are the materials, how the business uses those materials to transform it into the outputs, and then the output should be fairly straightforward. All right. Now, we need to also compare between a manufacturing and service business. So a manufacturer produces goods that are tangible, while a service organization produces services that are intangible. So when you think of a service, for example, a bank, they provide a service. And so that service is intangible because often they might give you banking advice, they might help you set up a banking account. All of that is intangible. Whilst a manufacturer, their production of goods are tangible. The manufacturer, they produces goods that can be stored and standardized, while service businesses, their services are difficult to store and are more so customized. So with a manufacturer, maybe you think of, for example, Yakult. All of their products, well, they have different product lines, but all of them are standardized. They're the same thing. So manufacturers is producing, thousands or hundreds of thousands of that particular good. So they're standardized, and they can also be stored. Kind of links to the idea of tangibility. So that just means they can be touched, held, or stored. Whereas with services, it's difficult to store. So since it's intangible, you can't touch, store, or hold it. But it's more so customized. So with the banking example again, everyone goes into the bank. They want to do different things. One person might want to, get a home loan. One person might want to set up a banking account or savings account. One person might want to renew their card. Another person might want to, maybe, cash in a check or something. So there's so many different things that that organization provides, and therefore it's customized. And then we also have with the manufacturing business, it involves minimal final customer contact, whereas with the service organization, it's a high degree of final customer contact. So with the manufacturer, they're just producing that particular good and then distributing it to stores where customers can purchase it. Whilst with service organizations, it's a very high degree of contact with the customer. So people come into the bank, as an example, and they're sort of working with that employee who's providing the service. And so there's that high degree of contact. So manufacturing businesses, so they're generally produced and capital intensive. So it means that they have a lot of machinery. There's a lot of capital in terms of like the production and the processes stage of producing that good and the final output. And with the services, they're generally performed and labor intensive. So it's a lot to do with like employees. So again, banks, sorry, I keep going back to the bank example, but employees are the ones providing that banking information. They're helping the customers. So it's a lot to do with labor. And then manufacturing, so they involve production and consumption. So those two, production and consumption, are separate. So the manufacturer produces it, they distribute it, customers then buy it and consume the product. Whilst with service organizations, production and consumption occur simultaneously. So for example, customer goes into the bank, they want banking advice or they want to set up a savings account. They tell, the employee they want to set up a savings account. The employee helps them save up. They help them set up the savings account. And so while that's happening, like the consumption is happening simultaneously. So it's happening at the same time. So once it's set up, it's essentially the employee can also I don't want to say they consume the product because you can't consume a savings account, but you sort of get the idea where production and consumption are happening at the same time.